We're back in the layout today. We're just going to do a short video today, a work video. I'm going to do, when I do work videos, I think I'll probably do them during the week like this. We'll save the evening ones for just runs and chat sessions. So today I've been working, I'll get the camera, I'll show you in a second. Today I've been working on weathering and finishing up the towers, the two apartment flop houses in the Skid Row. So I'm going to show you how to do the paint effects I do on them. This is a little bit more involved than the smaller, the three-story ones that we had before. This is double the height, so there was a lot more work involved. And I did a lot more paint flaking and things like that, and some really neat details. So
Carl says good morning.
Good morning. So we're going to work on that today for a little bit. It's probably going to take, I think the last one took, to do all the details on it, the weathering details on it, took about an hour. So that's probably about how long we're going to go with this today. It'd be about an hour. Tomorrow we'll do a package came in today, so we're going to be premiering a new train tomorrow. So we will have that going. So that'll be pretty fun. So can't wait to do that. That's what I've been wanting to see for a long time. So this is going to be really cool. I already opened the box and it just looks sharp. And we'll be filming a video of an unboxing of it and a review of it tonight. But we probably won't put that up until this weekend, so you'll actually get to see it before we do that. So we got a little, looks like a ladybug flying around.
I can't tell.
I don't know. Who knows? They've got bugs everywhere. So we actually have a nice day. No rain, no thunder, nothing. No lights flickering.
It's all passed.
It's all passed.
Boy, it hit last night though. Did you hear that wind and the rumbling?
About what time was that?
I think it was around like 1:32.
Oh no, I was already down by then. Yeah, your mom fell asleep almost immediately, and then I was done. So yeah. So today I'm going to show you first the building, the one that's finished. I'm going to show you what we're going to accomplish on the other one that's sitting on the table. So we'll do that, and then we'll get started on it. What's up?
Nothing.
Oh, okay. All right. So let me get everything here.
Pan of the layout.
Yep. Got my glasses on so I can see the screen. That way, holding it in place here. This is just really loose.
Oh, Jeff says hi.
Hi, Jeff.
I'll give you that.
All right. So here's what we're going to work on today. This one's already done. I'll see if we get some zoom ins here. All right, you can see all the paint flaking that's on that. That's what we're going to do on. Well, the paint flaking is already pretty much done on this one. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to paint white. You can probably tell it's white anymore. I'm going to paint the white on all the window sills, and we're going to come back in and we're going to chip off the paint on the windows, and then we'll do a dark wash over the whole thing. You see how that side's looking. It's looking really, really good. Here's, you can see how that looks.
Jeff says, I'm good. How are you guys?
Doing okay. Enjoying not having a lot of weather. So we're going to... this one is all done except for I've got to get the advertisement stuff that I'm going to put right here in this area. And actually this building will be sitting right here, and then the one is over here. I just wanted to put on this end so I can get it down here closer to the other buildings to compare. And we got to put the fire escapes on, and we've got a nice STL file for security bars for windows that we're going to put on all of the lower floors here. So these windows will all get it. Those windows will get it. So it's going to look pretty good. Let me get that. I don't have this quite centered where it needs to be. There it goes. Okay. So anyway, that's what we're going to work on. So we're going to start painting the white. I'll give you a few tips on hand painting white so you don't have like a bunch of stuff going over the edges. So we'll do that today. And you can see in here, I've got this up here. I've got to do a little bit on the inside of this wall, a little bit of color down in there. So that's what we're gonna try to accomplish. All right, so let me set this up.
Jeff says, I hear you in my backyard is like it's fun.
Yeah. Our ground is so saturated here, it's not even funny. So, all right, I gotta wait for this thing to get past the commercial. Here we go. All right, I'm gonna set this up. try to get a good spot right here. We'll see how this is. Oh, that's pretty good. When I get done with stuff, I'll hold it up close with the camera for you so you can see a little better. Maybe I'll zoom in just a. Well, no, because then I'll if I hold up the camera too much. Can you see the building pretty good, Gabe?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So that'll be that should be all right. So here we go. So I'm going to start. I've just got the back panels wedged in. I don't have them glued in. I'm not going to do that until I'm done doing all of the window glazings and window treatments. Because what I'm going to do actually is I'm going to have some windows that are actually going to be open here and there, and you'll actually see like people like maybe with their arm hanging out the side, leaning against the window to catch the breezes and things. So we're gonna. Some may have some laundry hanging out the windows. So we're going to do all of that. I've got to get all of that kind of stuff figured out first before I do the window glazing. So in addition to putting the advertisement stuff on here, same thing, we're going to have the security bars all the way around on the lower group of windows right here, all the way here in the basement windows. We're going to put security bars all across there. And then we'll get... Okay. Well, good luck on the woodworking. So I'm going to hold this up so you guys can see this just a little better. There we go. I thought that was pretty good. You can kind of see the chipping that I've done along here. I did a lot of that chipping with just an X-Acto blade. First thing I did was I used my sanding block, like this one. I used one, well, this is the one I actually used. So what I did first is I came in and I sanded down a lot of the paint all the way around on these areas, came and sanded and all that, and drug it down and brought it up from the bottom. And then I came in with the X-Acto blade and I just chipped off little bits of paint all along the edges in between the windows here and there, just to give a real jagged effect, like it just looks like, you know, paint has just flaked off over the years. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to paint the window frames, and then I'll come back in and I'll do some paint chipping on that. And then we'll do the black paint overwash on everything. And that should get me to looking just like this one that's up here. I'll have to kind of keep an eye on it so I get them to kind of match. So I don't want to make them too more dark than one over the other. They need to be very, very similar. So hang on here. I'm having an issue with this. Let's get that. Well, it's not showing me the chat stream. Can you come do this for me? The tablet's not showing the chat stream or anything, so I can keep track of it in case you miss something. It's not even showing. It's just showing one waiting. All right. So we're gonna get some white. Okay.
You just have to close out and come back in.
I did that once. Okay. So I changed over and I got my lighter colored paper towel for the white. I've got one for black and one for white. So I'm going to use, it's this one right here. Yep. So I'm just going to thin the paint down. I'm going to give you a tip on painting trim here. As soon as I get this done, I'll show you how I do mine to keep my paint fairly neat on the buildings. Okay, that should probably do it. All right, so what I do, I always, if I can, I turn the building like this. Now, you'll notice when you're pushing down on a brush, it bows like that. What happens is in this bow area, if you're working on something close to you, it'll push paint down on it, just like it's doing on my nail. So what I always do is I work, so for example, if I was to paint this frame part right here, I would get paint on this also and it wouldn't be even and I have to come back and clean it up. Or potentially, if I'm doing it right here, it could potentially get, if I was doing this one, it could potentially get on this part of the wall. So I always start working away from myself. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do these sections of frame that are away from me. I'll skip this one, and then I'll come to this one, and you'll see how I do it. There's a pattern to do this. You just rotate the building. And this will keep your building clean without having to do too much cleanup. You probably still have to do a little bit of cleanup, but I usually just either thin it with the water or I just scratch it off with the X-Acto blade. So all I'm going to do now is I'm going to turn this on. I'm hoping this is not going to mess all the lights up. No, it looks like we're okay. All right. So now I'm working away the farthest frame away from me. I just lightly drag that down. And of course, it just went off because I had that sanded. So I'm going to just hold this steady. I'm going to try not to get in too much of a rush. If you guys get bored with this, we'll have a good video tomorrow with the runs we're going to do and stuff. If you just want to hang out for this, but this is going to take a little bit of time, but I thought, well, I'll just show how I go about doing this. You can see how bright, I don't know if you can see it on the picture or not, but this white is extremely bright. I'll hold it up to the camera occasionally. If a commercial pops up, don't worry about it. You're not going to miss anything because it'll still be, I'm going to be doing this whole process for a while. Here's what that side looks like now. I'll see if I can, yeah, you can see the white there on that edge. Try to turn it just a little bit, you can catch a little more of it or like that. There we go. You can see the white on that edge now. All right, so now I'm going to do the same thing here. And I'm not making it super thick. This is actually almost just a dry brushing to just a thin wash. I do let some of the gray from underneath come through, some of the older paint, some of this kind of cream color I have, I let it bleed through. It just gives you that little bit of aged look already before coming in with the X-Acto blade and getting it scratched back down. So see, by working away from where I'm at, I'm keeping the brush, like I said, off of this area here from smearing or smudging the rest of the paint. There we go. I'm good to right there. All right. Now, these windows down here don't have frames on the outside. They're a recessed frame. So you just have to be a little more careful with that sort of thing. So I'm going to work on the, you just, again, working on the frame away, you just do a little bit here, tip the brush back to you so you don't touch any of this area over here on the outside on the wall. There we go. All right, so now I'm going to come in here and do these. That's doing a pretty good job. Get this one here. This one here. Get this last one here. Now, I'm not going to paint. It looks really good. I'm not going to paint. All I'm doing is the surface here. The inside of this window is the gray, and all the colors in there are really dirty looking. And it looks really good. Which, if you look at an old building, the inside of the frame is usually that way from the windows going up and down, wear and use. So I'm not going to touch the inside of this. I'm just doing the surface. All right. So that has all of them on that side. So now we just rotate this. Get a little more water here. So now we're going farthest away that way. So it'll be the bottom part of the frame. Okay. So I won't do the actual frame part in the middle till I turn it around. I'm working at it from the bottom part. And that way I get most of the glue on the top edge where I want it. I'll show what I mean when I get to that stage, but I'm not going to get down here right yet. Sometimes I get trying to move so fast, I'll forget an entire row of these kind of things. I'll have to go back and redo it. Or add them on, rather, not redo it. Now, again, I'm getting down inside this frame, in this opening to get to the frame. Okay, so now we'll rotate around. We'll go ahead and get these down here while I'm thinking about it. Again, I tip it that way, and then I tip it back to me. All right. A little too much paint on the brush there, and I'll just scratch that off when I start doing cleanup. Just take your time with this. It's going to look really good. I showed you the building at the beginning, and I'm really happy with all of that. Now, see what's going to happen here is this white looks too bright right now. So after I'm done with everything, all my neatening up on all this, getting all the sides, all the windows in, excuse me, when I do the black wash over the top, it's going to turn a lot of this white gray, which is perfect. And like I said, I am going to be scratching some paint flaking into it as well to match the building. And I get this. get that. Now I get the inside here. Here. I may change this right here and make it a different colored door, make the frame the white, and then the door itself right here, these little panels around where the windows are. I might make that a color of some sort. I'm not sure yet. We'll kind of see how it goes. Okay, so now we're going to flip it here. This is where we do all of the cross pieces as well. It's got a big frame underneath that top header. It's now on the cross piece. I'm just going to do just a quick light. I want most of the stuff in there to show through, so I'm just doing a quick light brush on that. This is really neatening everything up and making it all look a lot better. More natural with a different color here, different trim color. I'll hold this up here in just a sec so you can see where we're at on this. I'm just going to finish up this set. And actually, I'll bring the other building down, and what I was doing earlier is I was comparing between the two when I was painting. So I'll do the same thing here. Okay. Oh, gotta get this right up here. This is mostly at this point just a wash. I have this paint almost at a inconsistency right here. And this just is giving me a base coat. I'll come in and I'll still do another coat of white after this coat is dried. Don't have to do anything else on the windows. They're finished. Well, other than scraping, which I'm about to do. Okay. Got that trim. All right, so let's see here. Oops, I looked. See, I missed that one. Make sure I got all that. Those are all done. Those are done. Okay. Get that clean. So here is, let's see if I can get this into the light so you can see. Now you can see the white coming out. Yeah. All around the frames, everything there. That's looking pretty good. Okay, so let's, all right. So most of this is dry already at this point because it's acrylic. So I'm just going to come along here and I'm just taking the blade of the X-Acto blade and I'm just scratching it up. Make it very similar to what the walls look like. You can probably hear that little scratching noise. on these this molding here, the trim details. I'm just catching the highlight areas. Okay, so now we're gonna flip this, and we'll do the same thing on the horizontal trim. Just taking some of that white off. Let a little bit of that gray underneath show through. Now, I'm gonna spin it to get the cross piece in the frames on the inside right here. I'm just going to do a little bit on the top edge. A couple little bits here and there just to flake it up. Oh, hey, Victorious, glad you're here. Same to you. Hope you have a really good Thursday. We are just working on some paint details. I saw a spot here I wanted to work on just a little bit. Hello, Great Northern. All right, so I'm gonna flake a little bit more right through this area. This just looks kind of funky with this being a long streak right here. So I noticed it while I was. So I'm just gonna flake the paint a little bit more. A couple of spots like that. That looks better. Maybe even just, there we go. Pull that out right there. Okay, so this is good enough. I can now put the second and final coat on the top trim. Some have just joined us. We're just working on doing the windows for this today. I've already got the first one done. So now we're working on the second one. Hello, Model Train Outsider. We are just doing some trim today. Well, I finished up these two buildings. I want to get these done. And just kind of in place. I've got the foundations for them. The actual city block is finished that it's sitting on, other than gluing the dirt down and grass down. So I just wanted to get the rest of the painting part of this finished. So that looks pretty good. So let's compare this to the other one. It's right here. Bearing in mind that this one has already had the black wash done to it and looks much darker. So there, we'll hold this up so you can see the difference. Here's where we're at now, and here's where we're going. So you can see we're going to really darken this up and make it look dirty and filthy. Put a lot of staining on the windows to where you just see a little bit of white come through. So all that's left now on this one is to do the two sides. Help if I grab the right one. Get this back up out of the way so it's safe. Okay. All right, so the front is done, except for right here. I gotta let the second coat of this dry, and then I'll come and I'll flake it a little bit. But as far as the rest of the windows go, they're finished. Like I said, I am not painting inside these frames because the dirt and a little bit of white went in there, which is kind of perfect. A lot of these areas get really dirty inside the old windows. When they got to being lazy, all they would do is slap paint on the outside of the window frame, and that's what we're simulating, is that kind of an effect versus painting the whole thing white and making it look fresh and brand new. This is not a fresh and brand new building. So that inside filth and stuff in there is just perfect. That's exactly what we're looking for. Like I said, when we get, I've got the file, Gabe's gonna have the file set up. We're gonna get the window bars And all of the low windows are all going to have bars across them here, here. I got a commercial on mine, so hang on a second so I can see where we're at. So, because I'm watching on the screen here, to make sure you're seeing everything that I'm showing. So, we're just pausing for a sec. There we go. Okay, and then we're going to do the bars here, here, and the entire bottom row there. So that's we'll have those, and we'll have those applied probably this weekend. It's what we're using is this. This is our base file that we use for real thin bars. This is our this is a handrail that we use. This is a little shorter than normal, but this is about what we use for a handrail because that's only about maybe a little over 3 foot in height, and usually handrails, well, it's about right for a handrail, maybe 3.5. They're a little bit taller than this. But anyway, these two of them are perfect. Two of these right here are perfect to cover, but what we need is one more in between. So I'm going to have them set it up where you have a set of 5 bars across each window like that, and I'll just paint them black, and we'll just glue them in place. And then I'll weather them, rust them up, and weather them, and make them look really sharp. You can see some of the brown that has come through. That's like the original paint. Not original, but paint before this one. There's areas like that over the whole building where there's a little bit of brown showing through here and there. But most of it's down to the primers, where it's just kind of gone, really gone. All right, so now we're going to do these. We're going to do the same exact process we just did. Hello, Willow Creek. We are just working on my second tower. The first one's done. We get this one all done, we'll put it up next to the other one, and we'll look at the comparisons. The hardest part is going to be doing the black wash over the whole thing to really age the building. Because I've got to make sure I don't make it look darker than the other one. It's got to look spot on with the one I've already done. All right, so same thing we did before. I'm starting on the frame away from me. So we're just going to go in here, and we're got to get rid of the floaters in my eyes so I can see what I'm doing. Do a lot of blink, blink, blink. I've had floaters all my life, but after I had my cataract surgery, going on about almost 12, 13 years ago now, the cataract or the floaters have just gotten 10 times worse. So it makes for a challenging day when they're really acting up to see all the fine details. That's why I've got all these magnifiers and things. And again, this is where we're going to put our advertisement. I'm not sure what's going to go on each building yet. I'm going to really do some looking around, find some really good decals for something. I've got to find verticals, obviously, because this building is lending itself to just doing vertical. Maybe 2 rectangulars or maybe 1 long one. I'm not sure yet what I'm going to do with it. Like I said, almost all of these, at least every floor will have window air conditioners hanging out. And like I said, some windows will have open, and I may have like the drapes blowing out of the windows. And like I said, it'll be people hanging out or just, like leaning out the windows to catch the breezes. And we'll have laundry hanging out, just draped out the windows, going down the sides. Oh, did that one too soon. I got to flip around and do that one. Light touch on everything. Try not to get outside of the window frame if you can on any that are inset that you may have. If it does, if it happens, just use your X-Acto blade and scratch them. Scratch them clean around the edges. The worst thing you're going to do is add a little extra black from the primer underneath showing through, which on an edge of a window would probably be there because of the wear, so it doesn't really matter. And who's going to really criticize you about, oh, that doesn't look right, that weathering doesn't look good? They're not going to know. They have no clue. Stab that on the edge there, so I'll have to clean that one up a little later. Haven't decided where I'm going to put the fire escapes on this building. I don't have enough room to put them on the back wall, so it's going to have to be on one of the side walls. More than likely, it's going to be on the other wall that has all the windows. Because this wall right here is going to face the street, and if, well, I guess the fire escape could come down on the sidewalk. I guess it really wouldn't matter. So potentially it could be on this one right here. This could be a really busy and interesting wall with the advertisement and putting the fire escape there. So that might be all right, actually. And where these are recessed, you'd be able to just flip these over almost immediately and work on the other side. You don't have to wait for this side to completely dry, although by the time I get to the bottom right here, most of that paint on the top floors are already be dried and finished. All right. I think I've just got, is that it? That's it. All right, so that side's done. All right, so we will flip it to the back. And then I'm right here. I'll just start with this. I usually like start working with the longer sides. No reason for it. It's just it's a longer course that you have to paint. So I like getting the longer and harder stuff to do done first usually, but it's all got to get painted either way. We're going to put a chain link secondary door on the bottom, security door at the back here of this building. Oh, both of them actually. Yeah, there's not enough room at the back to put the fire escape at all because this is just not too far from the track. I wouldn't have enough room visually. I mean, I could do it, but it just wouldn't look right. You may think this is off. It's just not glued in. I think I said that just a little bit ago. I'm leaving the back panel, the back wall, not glued in so that I can do all the window treatments on the inside, and then I'll glue this in. I'll put glue on the walls on the inside for a little further in so you don't see any glue shine on the outside when I slide this wall finally into place. Or I may just leave it as a force fit, so later if I need to do any more work to the interior, replace lights, or if I want to add more floors, more details, like I'm going to have time to do that. But if I just ever have that, remember that point, I can always do it again without actually having to cut everything open. So it'll just depend upon how good of a force fit I can get on this back wall, or if it looks natural or not. These are all the kind of things you got to think about when you're trying to think ahead on, changing things and doing things later to buildings on the layout after they've been in place for a while. And you may want to change things up or add more details as you get better with your details. Just about got this. Just have this one wall over here on this side, and then I can start doing the black wash. And that's when it really starts to look dirty and old. And then the other one's dried enough, I can probably do my bottom water staining on the foundation area, towards the bottom of the foundation there. And then that'll really tie it into the sidewalk because I've already got the staining on the sidewalk done for where the building wall sits. So it'll just complete the overall appearance. I think I just did that one, didn't I? I think. I lose track. Okay, one more time around. Got a little messy there, clean that up later. And when I get the air conditioners in, I'll put all kinds of rust streaks from the water coming down underneath each one. So like with the air conditioners here, I'll do a lot of rust right there, streaking down. Because obviously any air conditioners that are here would have been here for a very long time. There we go. Sure I got them all? Got them all. All right, last wall. Then we'll do the black wash. And that's a real pain to do. You got to keep it really wet until you get the paintbrush really dry. So you're constantly wetting the brush to get it wet, and then drying it like crazy, and then doing the streak down. So it could be a real pain. Now, when I get all four of these walls done, I'll hold it up and rotate it and show you before we get ready to start making it dirty, like it isn't already. The fade came down pretty good when I sanded it to get these dark areas on the sides, these worn areas where the paint's just missing. But I wound up this paint that's on top wound up being really thick. I think it was just the pigment that was used because I didn't do anything different in the application. And it took a lot to just get the top layer off. So when the top layer came off, it actually took my secondary coat off, which was more of a reddish color that I was hoping was going to show through more. And it just didn't. So I'll know next time when I do one of these that's heavy like this on the weathering, which I've got quite a few I've got to do, I just won't cover the second, the first main color on top of the primer. I just won't cover it so much with the top coat. So the colors are already starting to come through, so I don't have to do as much sanding. So paints are funny that way. Sometimes you get some that work really easily, and sometimes you don't. And this one didn't. So let's see here. Was this from the bottom? Yes. Yeah, like I said, we had a box come in today, so tomorrow during our live stream, we will be premiering. Most of you that were on our live stream Monday know what we had coming in. It was that Surfliner set. It is here. So we will be premiering it tomorrow in the live stream. We'll run it some along with the other Amtrak that we have. I added in the Amazon wish list. They finally brought out the Metro set, so we put that on there. Eventually, I'd like to have like all major, like city lines. I don't know when they're going to bring back out. I saw it on Athearn was going to bring back out a lot of the Bombardier cars and the F-59s. So we'll see how that goes. I think they're bringing out the New Mexico Department of Transportation one again, the Rail Runner. I think they're bringing out the Utah Front Runner. And after that, I don't know what the other ones are. Looks like those North Star cars, because North Star went out of business there in Minneapolis. They all headed down for a company in Texas took them. And I can't remember, I don't know if they bought them or they leased them for the World Cup. But I was seeing on the news the other day that a lot of people have canceled their trips coming to the World Cup from overseas. So I don't know if those cars are just going to go down there and just sit and not be used. I missed that bottom row. And then I don't know if they'll be, I don't know where they're gonna go after that, because, they're obviously not, North Star's gone, so. I always loved that paint job. I always thought that was really pretty. Really expensive at N scale, holy cow. Like the cheapest I've seen for an engine and a 3-car set's about $400 to $500. That's a bit much for right now. Maybe I'll find it at a show and I can work a deal. They do come up from time to time, not very often, but we'll see. I mean, not that I wasn't bringing that up because I watch soccer. I don't watch soccer. I don't watch many pro sports at all. I'm more into college, and my season's pretty much up after the bowls are done. If we have a team in it from our conference that's in something, I'll we got a couple of them in the finals. I'll watch all the way through. And the Big Ten really did well this year. We took women's volleyball championship. We took, I think, women's basketball, men's basketball, and we took the football. So that's not bad. But that's what happens when we get super conferences now, I guess. Okay, make sure I see white in the shade there. Yep. Just this one little set left to go. The bottom part on each window. Bottom part of the frame. And then I'm done. Other sides will be ready for the black wash. By the time I get around to this side, this one will be done. So it'll be dry and ready to go. So, not bad. Moving along pretty good. Like I said, I'll hold this up and show you in just a sec. I'm getting a shadow being cast from my light, and I can't quite see this frame. That's why I'm getting a little messy right now. But I'll take care of that later. Yep, that was a real mess. Lost control of that completely. All right, I think, take a look here. Get rid of that glare. Let me see if I've got all the windows done. Yep, all the windows are done. Okay, let's go back here to the front, make sure. Yep, that dried white enough, so we're good there. So I'm done with this. Get that brush really clean. Put this out of the way. Get to the 2 dark ones that I have right there. First thing I'm going to do, though, is I've got to scrape that. Finish, since it's now dry. Got to do my paint flaking. You really need a super sharp X-Acto blade. So if you don't have a fresh one in, you do something like that, just be sure to put one in. Now I'm going to come down here and I'm going to get these. I may paint these bits of the, I don't know what these things are called. I always want to say cornices, but they're not cornices. I may paint some other color here on this trim later. That won't matter because I'll use a darker color. All right, so we're going to just, there's no real black underneath here. It's just the original color. So I will just do a few little spots here and there. Just to, because once the black paint gets on here, this really dirties up. It looks really good. There we go. All right, so hold this up. I'll rotate it so you can see the whole thing. Whoops, didn't mean to get you in the black there. roll in. Okay. Oh, I did forget something. Just scratch these windows up a little bit. They just don't look so solid white on these cross pieces. You don't have to do any on the sides, they're tucked in enough, but these cross pieces on the frames you definitely want to get. And just let the X-Acto blade bounce on it. And what I do usually is I'll take, when I get a side completely done, is I'll just take a paper towel and just wipe all that. I am going to pop this out and do this. Like I did the other one, I'm going to just pop this right out of the back of the building here and do it separately. Just easier to leave it in there while I'm doing this part. Gives me a little extra strength. That one. Yeah, that one. Yep. Okay. So it's re-straightened. All right. So you can see now we've got, let me get this so you can see them, hopefully see the whites a little bit better, the white trim a little bit better. So now we've got it done all the way around. All right, so we're ready for the black wash. It's the final step really of all the main painting stuff on this. Then it's just going to be adding details. So I'm going to pop back out, throw that over there, put this right here. All right, I use a much bigger brush. So we're going to get it wet going. I'm going to get some fresh black on here. This is from a couple of hours ago today. Put that there. Start thinning it out, getting it to the ink consistency like I do. Got to get a lot of it on here because we got a lot of surface to cover. Okay, get it brush cleaned off. You know what? I'm going to get a fresh piece for this. There's so many colors on that, along with some dust and flakes and things, so I'm just going to put a fresh piece right there. I can hopefully try to get that brush smooth. There we go. Okay. All right, so here we go. Just going to pick up the wash. Just being brave. All right. You get it all on there. Got a little bit more up here. You get it all on there. You get a little bit of the semi-clean water, and you just make it really liquidy. Like that. Dry the brush off. Really dab it off. It'll start to pull it up like a magnet. Get this area up here where the white was. Now I want some of my white to come back out on my frames here, and I'll show you what we do about that in a second. Getting in between all the windows here, making sure I've got a good staining in there as well. All right, so you just take the flat of the brush, and you're just going to drag it across the frames. Try not to get your walls, but if you do, you can come back in and touch those up. You just want to try to get some of that black off of the white. You don't want it completely gray. You want some white coming through. That's looking pretty good. Yeah, that'll do it. All right, so there's the front side. Now we'll compare. Yes, this is going to dry darker here too. So as it sets up, but I can already see right here, this is as dark as this is here. So it's going to be just fine. We matched well. So since these two are going to be sitting about this far apart like this, they got to be close. And this wall and this wall are the two that have to be the closest matches. The side walls don't really matter that much because there's going to be a lot of things happening on the sides. Let's see here. Actually thinking I may need to put a little more right there. I'm trying not to go over the edge. So that's why I'm working at a funny angle. Yep, I'm okay. Let's see how that does. I think that's better. Yes. Okay, so that side's finished. Now I've got the white off, enough of the white off, or black off the white rather. Perfect. Okay, so doing that so when I turn it to its side, it won't pool on a corner or anything. Normally I let this sit for probably about 10 minutes. Well, I guess I can go ahead and now here's to give you an idea of how we're doing versus the original versus you can really see the difference here. So this is obviously before. You can see how much lighter it is versus the after. All right, so I'll just go ahead and do this one real quick while I'm waiting for that to set up. Getting back to inconsistency, it was getting a little dried out there. This is hard when you've got something like this, you've got to handle it. So you just kind of have to try to get your fingers all the way out to the edges as you can. All right, same thing as before. Get this cleared. And we'll just start dragging that down. It seems to be a little too streaky. Just re-wet it. And then I'll dry this brush off and we'll do our final drag down, or close to the final drag down. There we go. Compare it to the other wall. Yep, we're fine. So that's done. All right, back to this one. So that, yeah, it's pretty good. Try to get my white standing out better. There we are. Versus the top. It's fine versus the top. Okay. All right, so we're gonna go do this side. Same thing, just make sure, just re-wet. Make sure you get this to the inconsistency. All right. There we go. Again, leap of faith. It's just going to be able to do it. I know a lot of people would have just left it with the sanding, what I did there, but this just adds that extra little bit of grime. All right. Down here at the bottom, we'll be doing that water staining. So we want to try to get this looking as nice as we can. So it'll complement the water staining. There we go. Now I'm going to come up here and I want to get rid of some of this stuff. There we go. All right, so that side's done. So I got to give that a minute. I can't flip it over, obviously, to do the other side for just a couple seconds. Yep, we are working on Skid Row. This is the heading into the final steps here of the weathering of these two buildings. Then it's just a matter of slapping on all the details, which we're going to print up this weekend, get all of the fire escapes done and the bars for the lower windows, the safety bars. All right, that's looking all right. Yep. Have a little bit of black still on the brush. There's just getting some of this white knocked down on the side, on the inside of the frames. Just make it a little dirtier. There we go. Great thing about acrylics. Want to speed it along, you can. So let's see how we're doing here. Yep, that's matching pretty good. Oh, we're almost caught up to the other one. And I'll show you what they look like together. And then we'll work on the water staining. Oh yeah. Yeah, that's looking fine. Looking modifying. Yep. Old building. Oh boy, get my leg untucked there for a little bit. I developed that habit, it's a bad habit. Developed it when I was doing all my artwork and I was sitting here forever. It actually boosted me up a little bit higher sitting on my leg. So I could reach far to get into the areas where I needed to do all the detail work when I was doing the high-end drafting work on the railroad art. So it's what it's kind of blown my knee out. It makes it. And I still do it just out of habit. Seems like it's the only way I'm comfortable to sit when I'm doing long periods of work like this. But boy, it hurts after a while. Just can't seem to break the habit of it though. All right, how we doing here? It's almost dry. There's just one spot right there that I really built up with the paint, so it's almost done. Yeah, Advil. Yeah, we keep that on stock in stock between the back, the shoulders, and the knee. Yep, yeah, I use that fairly regularly. Probably about 2 or 3 a night when I get ready for bed. Boy, that's looking nice. I'm happy with that. So, like I said, we're going to have air conditioners in a lot of the windows, so we'll be doing rust work. Got to decide where it's probably going to go on this side. Is going to be probably the other side. Will be the fire escapes. So that's going to look really good. And then probably going to put some no trespassing signs up. Going to put up some beware of signs, all kinds of stuff. There's going to be a pool in between the two buildings, so there's going to be lots of details there to do. Probably some signage, maybe uh, probably I don't know, maybe put a fence around the pool, but I am going to make it a moss covered pool with probably a body floating in it. So we've got a lot to do there. Yep. Oh, well, good. Glad you joined us, model. Model train. Yeah, yeah. So we're just about there. I really like how that front came out. I'm really pleased with that. We just got to dirty up that side. We have the two done. I'll put them up in place and I'll show you what they look like. And then I think I'll probably do the wraps on this for the day because I got to let this really set. Because there's little cracks and everything that it's going to stay wet in for a very long time. So I'll need to let it set up probably at least a few hours before I come in and I start doing the water staining along the bases and at the tops and put the brown in and do some more brown across here in various spots, dirt and things. By the time we get done, it's going to be a real, oh boy, that looks really good. I'm sitting here looking at the other one. I don't want to move the camera, so I don't have to worry about getting it back in the same place, but it's going to look really good sitting next to the other one. Definitely. And then we put all the trash everywhere on the ground and just garbage everywhere, burned out cars in the parking lots, and it's gonna be a really bad area. Trains will fly through here. Passenger trains will fly through here anyway. All right, how we doing here? Yep, it's dry. Yep, we're good. Okay. Last wall. Again, like before, just get it to the inconsistency. All right, here we go. Got a little bit went over the edge there, so I'm going to go ahead and handle that real quick. And we'll just start to thin this up. Okay, get this really dry. Start pulling this down. I probably should use a wider brush, and then I wouldn't have as many overlap streaks, but it also is giving it a nice kind of an effect because I'm trying to hit it where it's like around the window areas that we get a lot of the streaks. Let's flip this. Do that. And this is where the signage is going to go, so it doesn't have to be perfect right now, just kind of in the ballpark. That's how it looks. Because I'm probably going to have to, once the sign's on, and I get the sign sanded to where it's got flake off stuff and everything, I'm going to have to come over, and this area alone right here, I'll have to have another black wash put over it, just to blend the signage into the rest of the weathering in the building. So, how are we doing here? Pretty good. Yeah, I think we're all right with that. All right. So I think we'll just let this set for a minute. We'll put up in place and I'll show you what we've got. And like I said, then I'm going to have to sit and let it wait until it's fully dry. This one, I'll put it here. know where it is. So I thought you might be interested to see how I dealt with this guy. Yeah, how he's going to look. I need to put a little more right here. I mean, I know I'm going to be adding more, but there's just I just took too much off. That's a little better. Those few streaks will be fine. Like I said, then I'll well, I'm going to split it. There we go. Okay. Darken up some. All right. So we're going to put this. Let that dry. Well, that's going to look good. Yep. Yeah, I'll put the fire escapes right here. That would kind of make sense. Like this might be, well, it was made for advertisements, so they could sell advertisement space, but then this would be like the bathrooms in the hotels, in the apartments, this would be the privacy area. And then all the rest of this. So the way I'm going to have it figured out is like each floor is its own apartment, or maybe divided in half. I'm not quite sure yet. I'll have to figure it out. Well, no, I guess it doesn't matter because you could have more than one air conditioner in an apartment, obviously. So I think I'll just, when it comes down to it, I'll just start playing around with it. Like I said, I want to get the bars up first. For all my little people, give them safety. Even though they're living in a bad area, they need some safety. Okay. Get this set into place where it needs to be. All right. Perfect. Get this out of the way so I can get the camera. All right. So here's how it came out. You can see that on the sides. It's really good. That'll be great for the advertisement. These are the back panels, obviously. Great for putting the advertisement on here. Front looks really pleased with how that looks. Both of them match. They're both as dirty as each one's the same as the other. So all I've got to do is paint the stairs and the stoops and put the dirt in, glue the dirt down, all this right in here. Paint the parking lot color, stain it up. I'll get some of the static graph tufts you can buy online. Guys are selling them in bulk, so I can then just put little tufts down everywhere. Put our pool right here, the mossy filled pool with ducks and geese, and maybe the body floating face down. So yes, we are. Yes, Justin, we are. We're going to have all kinds of stuff. Here's the earth right here that's going to be glued down on all of this, and around here and the sides of the buildings. And then we'll be putting the tufts in, the actual static grass tufts. Then we'll put some sand in spots. We'll put dirt kind of going over into the parking lot, glue dirt right there. So yes, we will be putting all of that down. I'm just trying to get these buildings all just like they're, we're heading into their end of days use. Next step for these will be demolished and, this whole area be revamped and used for something else later, but for right now it's our Skid Row, so it works out looking as bad as it does. Like I said, I can't wait to get like I said, we're going to do bars over the lower windows and the first floor all the way around, and then air conditioners everywhere, roof details up on top. Probably bring like I said, we'll bring the fire escapes down right here to where they could get out on the sidewalk, and then the fire escapes will be over here on this side. so they can get out into the parking lot right here if there ever is an issue. So, is that stuff real or fake? Oh, this right here, this is fake stuff that's made. But I do have real sand that I use, which will go here also. That's this stuff right here. This comes from Menards. It's tube sand. This is what I use right here. This is a combination of turf stuff over there, like you see in the bag, and sand. So we'll be putting that kind of stuff all along here with those little bushes growing, and like I said, static grass and all that kind of stuff. So it'll be around all of them because this is a parking lot here too. So we'll have dirt along the back and everything. So it'll all look like this eventually. So next step on these is to do water staining along the bottom, like I did here. I don't know if you'll be able to see it with the light. I did water staining and dirt staining just right along here. So we'll do that along the base here on all the sides. And then we'll also do, on the dirt, we'll put some darker areas around the base right there. So that will be coming. I'll probably do that this weekend. And then we'll pretty much almost have this thing based other than me ordering the static grass and getting in. So I think that will be a really good looking Skid Row addition to the Skid Row right there. So like I said, this is the back piece. I'm going to leave those out, like I said, just until I get all my window glazing and window treatments done, because I'm going to have all kinds of windows open, stuff hanging out the windows, all that kind of stuff. Our weather sirens are going off and the skies are blue. Yeah, we had that the other night. But then we had tornadoes roll through not too long, well, about an hour after that. They were way early, but I think they were testing. So it's getting there. So that's going to look really good. Was it Tuesday night we did the live? Yeah. On Tuesday night we showed the new Amtrak auto train here going behind here, and it looked really good. So I've got to get my chain link fence in along here so that I keep all my little drunks and everything and addicts from crossing the tracks and getting killed by my trains. Do what? Josh says hi, and Willow Creek says it's going to look really good. Oh, well, thank you. So that's where we are today. Or before today started, this was all solid paint. None of these streaks were in here. None of the sanding was done, but this sanding was done just like I did these. So if you want to see how I get this kind of an effect, just go back and watch one of our videos on this, and I show how to do the sanding on on the small buildings to get that look. So if you want to see that, that's easy enough to do. So that should. Let's see. Well, thanks, Josh. Yeah, so in case you haven't been with us before, so there's our big bridge we got 7 main lines total, 3 main lines here, 2 main lines, 2 main lines. We finally figured out what we're doing with all of this. We're going to be starting this next week. We're going to be raising up the back area here. So we've got our elevated track running through our city. Here's part of our city right here. Here's the elevated track right here. We're going to have all 4 main lines coming right through here, looping back around, coming back over here, hooking up, and over here we're going to have the switches go off and get to the helix. That'll get us to the 3 different levels and over to our yards that are going to be on that wall. So that's where we're at. We'll get the convention center, the big building for the convention center printed and back there. We've got the file for we'll move this down that way just a little ways. We're going to put our big parking structure. We have an open parking structure. We're going to do like a 10-story right here with skyways going to here. We'll have the restaurant going in between right here and the skyway up there. So then we'll just start building and doing background buildings back behind. We left enough room to do full background buildings back here. So if I put a mirror in, it's going to really show it. You'll be able to see depth. So that's where we are. We do now have room for the Ferris wheel right here. So we'll be putting a Ferris wheel, amusement, and a carousel and some park fun stuff right here. Be really nice in front of the big background buildings. So I just wanted to get kind of this done. Next week I have some orders I need to take care of. They're for some container cars. I've got them pretty well along. I just have to finish them up. So there won't be a whole lot to see as far as new stuff on here. We'll probably just do some more running of the new engines because like I said, the one is in now. Yeah, I like the Ferris wheel is back on the table. Yes, it is back. So we'll be running tomorrow I'll be running the Surfliner, and then we'll be doing some runs with the new engines that have come in. These have most of these have all been off of the Amazon wish list, and I want to thank everybody for it. I don't know who sent the Surfliner, but thank you so very much. It's beautiful. You'll get to see the review we do of it this weekend, and you get to see it running tomorrow. Oh, thank you, Josh. Thank you very, very much. Oh, well, thank you. So we are definitely getting there. I've picked out, like I said, I picked out what I'm going to use for my road material, and it's going to get really dirty. It's very clean right now. So yeah, I saw that one. Yeah. So let's put this back over here. We'll visit for a little bit. Talk about upcoming things for this. So I think that's going to be in a good spot. I don't know. I may need to go that way with it just a wee bit. I'll probably do it, I think. So, now looking at it from over here, the Skid Row is really starting to take shape. I found bulk figures, resin figures that people are printing, both unpainted and painted in quantities of 100. So until we get our resin printer, and it's cheap, they're like, I don't know, $8 to $10 per 100. And some are already partially painted, but the paint's not that good, obviously. So I'm probably just going to get the unpainted types, and then I'll be spending probably a couple of weeks doing nothing but painting figures for over here, and I'll be using my heat gun to reform them into the positions I want them in, because we're going to have some sleeping on the sidewalks, leaning up against the buildings, sitting up against the buildings, standing in clusters, interacting with each other. So I'm going to have to do a lot of like arm manipulation and leg and all that. So I'll just use my little needle nose pliers, get the heat gun I've got, and get them into the positions I want them in, and then we'll just start filling the thing up as we go. So next step will be, I've got to find one building for this one corner spot for this first block. I don't like the building that I have there, so I'm going to do a different one. And then we'll start working on the more business part with a few homes mixed in. This will be like old businesses that are mostly boarded up now, or they'll just be the kind of stuff that you would see there, like maybe a bar or bail bondsman. I don't know. Maybe a dive restaurant of some sort, pawn shop, those kind of things that would be down here that would be servicing an area like this. Maybe a very small convenience store of some sort. So we'll have those kind of things filling in right here. But I'm thinking once I get the two towers done and I get the scenery down, and get those orders taken care of for the container cars, I think what I'm going to do next is start raising up this whole area back here that has to go up the inch. It's like we talked about, like this much of this area all the way around is going to be the green space, the park, and everything behind that will be elevated an inch, so it all comes up level with the bridge. So that will be what we're going to start working on, is elevating that back area all the way, so that I can start to do the scenery work in front and start getting the track down, so I get these four main lines finished up. So we got a lot on our plate. Do what?
Got a couple things.
Okay.
Josh says I'm going to see the big boy in Decatur, Illinois, on May, June, July, August, or September.
Cool. Yeah, I saw that somebody said they were going to see it in Indiana in July. I don't remember, so I don't know when it's actually coming through. Okay.
And Great Northern says, I remember driving by Skid Row as a kid on Saturday mornings as we went to drum lessons, and there were always guys out in front of Mission.
Yeah. Oh, a Mission. I'll put a Mission there.
Yeah.
I'm glad you mentioned that. So we'll have a Mission as one of these. Yeah, where they can sleep when there's bad weather. Huh?
Good idea, Greg.
Yeah. I'm glad you. I see them on we watch the Kensington slum area. That's where I got a lot of the inspiration for the buildings I'm doing. We watch that on the YouTube channels, and they've got a Mission right there. So I don't know why I didn't think about that, but yeah. So we'll put a Mission into probably maybe this building right here. That might be a really good, like, restaurant Mission. That building, that might be perfect for that. So, and then figure out something else to go next to it. So yeah, that'll be great. So we're getting there. And then as soon as he's done with his schooling, we will be doing all that bench work. We will be immediately going in and doing the helix and doing the yards over there. So that way, all the bench work is finally finished on everything. In the meantime, until he's done, I'm gonna just keep plodding along on this, take care of orders I've got. And I'm gonna get this area cleaned off down here completely, everything bagged up, boxed up. And we'll start getting out the Unitrack, and we'll start doing the lower level with Unitrack and start testing. We'll be doing that. We'll probably be testing within 2 weeks down here on the bottom. So that's all coming. All right, so I think that's pretty good for today. I've been working on these buildings since about 8 this morning, 7:38 this morning, and I got a few other things I need to get done. So I think we will put a wrap on it here. So tomorrow morning, 10:30ish, tomorrow we'll be doing a vertical. Verticals are better when I'm doing the run days for some of the run stuff, because then you see the buildings, full tall buildings, and I want to do that tomorrow. But then the next run that we do next week on an evening, probably Tuesday night, because Monday and Wednesday we're busy, but probably Tuesday night we'll do one like we did this week. So we'll do a horizontal like this and a run and chat session on Wednesday. So you'll have tomorrow and then Tuesday, and we'll probably fill another one in there somewhere. So, and there'll be some membership stuff coming. We put up a video on the membership with the unboxing of the Amtrak, and we'll probably do the same thing with one of these other things here. We've got 2 more boxes I've actually got to get unboxed that have cars in them that I haven't even opened yet. So,
Josh says the big boy post to have Abraham Lincoln diesel engine on it.
oh,
Okay.
that'll be nice. That's what they were running with it when I saw them doing something with it back east or in Nebraska or somewhere. Nebraska or Wyoming, I saw them paired together, I think.
And Greg says I'll be meetings until 1. I'll have to catch it later.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Well, we'll depends on what time we start. We may be still
Going.
at 1
Yeah.
because we plan on doing a little longer of a one tomorrow. Because this will all be dried up, and when it finally dries, that's when it really looks good, because all the paints come in. I know what it's going to look like now in my head, but by tomorrow it'll all be dried up and looking really good. So we'll do some really good tours and stuff tomorrow, and some runs, and we may do some working on some things. So we'll just kind of wait and see.
And Josh says, see you tomorrow.
All right, sounds good. Thank you everybody for joining us, and if you've liked it, please like and subscribe and hit the notification. That way you don't miss out on these, because this was just, we weren't planning on doing this today, but I thought, well, I'm going to work on the building, so I might as well do it. So that's just kind of how it goes, and he was just going to be able to work on his thing in there. So
Yeah.
that might be a good way to keep track of what we're doing, is just that notification. So, but again, thank you, and again, thanks. I don't know who you are if you've tuned in today, but thank you so much for the Surfliner set. That was beautiful, and
The FEC.
the FEC and the BNSF with Plumber Boggs, and the FEC was anonymous along with the Surfliner. So wherever you are, thank you so very much. You're going to get lots of use. You're going to see them running lots here. So anyway, so everybody take care until we see you tomorrow. If you've got bad weather, stay safe, and we'll see you then.